Nearly 500 days. That's how long Aviva Siegel desperately waited to see her husband, Keith, after the Israeli-American couple's lives were torn apart on October 7th. Married 43 years, Aviva and Keith were among the 251 people kidnapped by Hamas and held hostage in Gaza. Aviva was released in the early days of the war, forced to leave her husband behind and spend the next year wondering if he would ever come home. But over the course of 14 months, Aviva couldn't stay silent, demanding the Israeli and U.S. governments work toward a ceasefire and Keith's safe return. We have followed the Siegel family through their long fight. Aviva told me last December how she yearned for the day when her husband would finally come home.
You know that I'm trying to hold on the good side of it, that it might happen, and I'm going to just hug Keith in a couple of days' time. But then I say to myself, just relax. Keith isn't here with me, next to me. I can't see him. So I'm just holding my fingers and want to keep hope. And I just can't wait for his grandchildren to run to him and give him a big, huge hug. I just can't wait.
Well, that happened. There's the picture right there. Keith was released earlier this month as part of the first round of the ceasefire, sharing this emotional reunion with his family in the hospital. Grab your tissues. And although Keith has missed so many important moments in the last 484 days, including the death of his 97-year-old mother, he looks forward to walking his daughter down the aisle. Joining me now for more on their journey and her husband's safe return home. Once again, Aviva Siegel joins me live. Aviva, it's so good to see you. We talked so much about this moment and what it would be like when you saw Keith for the very first time again. Take us back to that moment in the hospital. Describe what it was like to hug your husband.
Well, it's hard to collect the words for it, but I can just tell everybody that it was just such a special moment that I will never, ever forget, waiting for him and then seeing him in front of me standing, even though I want to tell everybody that I did catch quite a fright because he lost 30 kilos and he didn't look like Keith, but I was just the happiest person in earth, having him back and hugging him and being with him and talking to him. But there's been so many moments of being so sad, hearing the stories that he went through, of what he went through, and thinking about all the hostages that are still there, and to think that they're still there underneath the ground and being tortured, just like Keith was. You know, that one of the Hamas terrorists pointed a gun in his face and just played games with him and said to him, "I'm going to shoot you now. I'm going to kill you." And I asked Keith, what did you do when he said that? And he said nothing. And I think that the Hamas terrorists made me, while I was there, and Keith and all the hostages, feel like we're nothing. And it should not be like that. Nobody in this world should go through what Keith went through. You know, I think that when he hugged his grandchildren for the first time, and I saw them crying because they had so much emotions. That really was just such a special moment because I do know that Keith was waiting for them for so long and he loves them so much. And his children, when they hugged him, and his family, his brother and sister came from the States all the way to hug him and to be with him. And that was very, very special for me to see that too.
And I know that upon his release, Keith did release this video recounting what he went through in captivity. Let's just listen to a little bit of that.
My name is Keith Siegel, and I'm a 65-year-old American citizen. I love country music and I love pancakes on Saturday morning, but that was my previous life. Since February 1, I am a newly released Hamas hostage. I'm a survivor. I was held for 484 days in unimaginable conditions. Every single day felt like it could be my last.
Aviva, why was it so important for Keith, for all of you, for him to make that video?
Because we want all the hostages back. I think that anybody that was a hostage in Israel and knows what it's like being underneath the ground and touching death, just like I was, there's nothing more that we want, that all the hostages will come back. And Keith feels the same like me. Now that he's back and he can help us bring them back, he wants to do everything he can. And he wanted to thank President Trump, because we do feel that what he did is the reason that Keith came back home. And we want him to push more, as hard as he can, to bring them all back, because without them, we can't breathe. We just can't.
You and Keith, you both released now. You are finally all home together. You have this second chance at being together. I'm sure it has changed your marriage, your family, your love for each other. What does life look like now for all of you going forward?
I don't think we live like only for today. We haven't even thought about tomorrow yet, because there's so many things to think about, so many things to talk about, but we're going to get there. Like I said, slowly, slowly, Keith will get stronger and we'll also get stronger, because, you know, it's kind of a shock for Keith coming home after being closed in a small room and locked most of the time, while he had to beg to go to the bathroom. And now he has control on his life. It's difficult. He's going to have to do that slowly and understand that he's going to have to, you know, not think about tomorrow, but go through today and be happy as he can. But it's going to take time. He went through a lot. You can't just erase it.
And there he was, I think, popping up behind you. You tell him. He can wave if he wants. He can send us his love. I know he's not ready to talk yet, but it was wonderful to even see him there home with you. And Aviva, I know with you by his side, everything is going to be just perfect and just beautiful. And I hope our next interview, it will be with Keith as well. And you guys are talking about how you are enjoying every moment and how you are moving forward. Maybe it'll be as he walks his daughter down the aisle. Aviva, I'm so glad you talked with us today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And just let's together bring all the hostages home.
And we'll follow every moment of that. Aviva Siegel, thank you.